Northern Wisconsin is a predominantly rural region of the state with an economy based largely upon tourism. Each year, thousands of residents and visitors alike venture outside to enjoy the waterways, fishing, and other outdoor activities. But behind this beautiful scenery, there lies a serious problem. Recent research shows that as many as 20% of the population here has difficulty with reading. While knowledge of reading difficulties like dyslexia and effective interventions have been available for more than 60 years, awareness of these interventions has not reached all schools and communities. There is a large population of children and adults in this region who continue to struggle with reading and are not receiving the literacy training they need. In 2004, a small group of concerned citizens met and formed the Literacy Task Force of Northern Wisconsin to address this problem.
I say it was one call too many. I got a call from a parent who had contacted the International Dyslexia Association looking for help for her child. And this was about the 6th or 7th call I've received from parents. And with this parent, we began talking about what to do about this. She had begun homeschooling her child, and it was just a difficult situation for her and for others. At that time, I knew of one tutor in the area, and it so happens that that person had developed a school for boys with dyslexia who were college bound. It was a residential school in the area. That school was no longer there, but she was retired. But I had heard of her, and I was referring everyone to her. But we needed more help. So I contacted her, and the parent and the parent's tutor. The parents had a tutor for her child, and this woman and I got together, and we began brainstorming about possible people we might put together to get together to see what we could do. And as a result, we had a group meeting with people from the area that included a representative from our area community college. It included some parents and professionals, retired professionals like myself. And we were fortunate also to have the former president of the International Dyslexia Association, Marcia Henry, join us. She lives about 3 hours away. At that first meeting, we decided that probably the most expedient way to reach people in north central Wisconsin was to set up a training program. And that first year was spent setting up that training program. We offered a training course that was adapted from the Rochester Reading Clinic model. And that first year, we brought in Jean Osmond and Marcia Henry to teach the class. And we brought master teachers in from all over because we had nobody trained here.
Bob Steber from Nicolet Area Technical College was another of the founding members.
When Lee called me, she felt like there was a real need for literacy tutors in northern Wisconsin because she just moved into the area and there weren't any. And I, being in the disability services at Nicolet, was very interested because I was having a hard time getting people who were trained and had the background and knowledge to work with people who had very low reading levels.
This newly formed task force decided to create and teach a course designed to provide training to those interested in becoming tutors and to other educators in northern Wisconsin, with the long-term goal of providing tutoring services for all those who needed them. But there were many challenges.
Well, I would say everything was a challenge that first year because we were starting from scratch. And everything from getting the course approved at the college level, both at by our community college to run it as a course and also to get graduate credit for people who wanted graduate credit. So there was that piece of it, getting the course off the ground, hiring master teachers, getting people to teach it. That was one part of it. But publicity was a second challenge. getting the course publicized both to people who might want to take the training in north central Wisconsin, and that would mean teachers or retired people or just homeschool moms or anyone interested in receiving tutoring. But also we had to develop materials for people to receive the tutoring because we had a practicum type model. So we had brochures that we developed for both people to be trained and people to be tutored.
The members of the task force knew they couldn't achieve their goals without help, so they sought the assistance of others within the community.
We also had to learn what the community had in terms of resources, so we began giving talks to organizations. And we're now talking about several communities because we're in a rural area. So we reached a large swath of north central Wisconsin. Our goals were fairly ambitious to do this. By approaching our public library, we were able to get our resources housed there, and those resources are available to the community at large on a borrowing basis.
To date, the Literacy Task Force of Northern Wisconsin has trained over 110 individuals in a multi-sensory structured language approach based on Orton-Gillingham methods, and limited tutoring has been provided to more than 100 children and adults from the area. Lee Gunshow is encouraged by the efforts of the task force.
Probably the most encouraging thing has been the feedback we've gotten from teachers and tutors who have taken the training. There's an overwhelmingly positive response to our training. They love it. It's very, very difficult, very challenging. It's new, but a number of them say it's the best course they've ever had. So I would say the response of the teachers and tutors and parents who've taken the training is probably the most rewarding for me. I also would say that appreciation of parents and also adults who have received tutoring, that's been very gratifying because parents are at this point looking for help, and when they get it, because Orton-Gillingham works, it's very gratifying.
With the training course now firmly established, the Literacy Task Force has refocused its efforts towards getting more trained tutors out into the field and providing tutoring services to more struggling readers. Task Force Co-President Donna Hejtmanek explains.
My vision for the task force is to continue growing. If you look at our humble beginnings, it was a group of people getting together, realizing that there's a need, and we certainly have made some gains, huge gains in the past 6 years that we've been doing this. But because we are a volunteer organization, it takes a lot of hours and a lot of energy to keep the task force going. Many volunteer organizations struggle with getting people with high energy, high commitment, and we do too. It's no secret that it's difficult to keep this organization going. So we are looking for people that have that desire to want to improve lives through reading. We want people that are anxious to get out there and to raise money, raise awareness of the need of illiteracy that is in our community.
I'm hoping to see that the task force can do a better job of connecting people. I think we have a lot of individuals who have gone through the training that are out there, and we just haven't been able to do a good enough job of connecting those people and keeping them connected. Funding is another thing that I think we really have to go after. It's just too costly, and people volunteer, but at least we should be able to help them pay for their gas and help them pay for the materials that they're using, and maybe even a little bit of income out of the thing.
The Literacy Task Force of Northern Wisconsin is an outstanding example of successful collaboration among concerned citizens, parents, teachers, community organizations, and institutions of higher education, working together to provide literacy services to the children and adults of the region who struggle with reading. Please go to our website at www.literacytaskforce.org for more information on how you can help us achieve our goals.